Good morning, dear student. So today is Sunday, or this is the weekend, and on this weekend from today, I am going to upload the magazine. Okay, the session of magazine, mainly The Economist, and I will also upload the PDF in the description box. Okay, so before starting, I just want to tell you that try to read the whole magazine because we get these magazines each month. Okay, it's a monthly magazine, so it's October month and I get this magazine, so try to read it. And this is one of the most important magazine, and every student wants that they can able to buy so that they can able to read. But if you get it in freely, means free, then try to read it. Okay, and from today, each Sunday of the week, each Sunday I'm going to read the magazine. Today is the this Economist magazine of October. It's about 80 pages. Okay, and we will divide it by part, and till 31st October I am going to end this. This is not the monthly magazine. This is means this Economist magazine. It is mainly the weekly magazine. It's from 4th to 10th. Okay, but I'm not going to read each magazine each week because it's too much bulky. Okay, and so I just want to make the session short. That's why I'm just trying to upload the single weekly magazine in whole week, in a whole weekend. Okay, so try to read it, and I'm going to start the session. Okay, mainly this weekly magazine shows what happened in the week. Okay, and if I able to end the session within 1.5 hours, then from next week I am going to upload weekly magazine of each week. Okay, I'm not going to skip any week. Okay, so I just try to see how many time it takes to read. So this is the first, I think it's from, this magazine is from, I forget the date. I mean to say the date. So it's from 4th to 10th October. One more magazine, I think it was published. I think it's from 11th to 18th October, I think. So I'm not going to upload that one because I downloaded this one. Okay, and I pay for it, so I can able to download it, and I just want to give you it freely to you. Okay, so every student can able to read it. So let's begin the session. Where is the one number? Let's start from 9 number. Okay, so what are the contents that we are going to read from 4th to 11th, I mean 10th October? What happened in the economy? So this Economist magazine tells us about that. Okay, the world this week. What happened to the world in this week? Because it's a weekly magazine, and if anyone want monthly magazine, I will also provide that one also. Okay, so just a second, I have to plug it in charge. So here, the world this week under the section, I'm going to read a summary of political and business news. Okay. This is the main thing that we are going to read. Okay. In the letter section, I'm going to read the Russian invasion, Putin test, the West, the Middle East, medicine in America. Means it's a line by line series. I'm just going to read it. Drug pricing. The next Scottish term, court politics, self-driving cabs, letters on asylum seekers in Britain, America's relation with Israel, the US Constitution cost cozy crime the Democrats. Okay, letters. Okay, under this letter section, we are going to read about this one. Okay, by invitation, I'm going to read about Patrick Salimi of on Kosovo as a model for Gaza. Okay, briefing Russia's hybrid warfare. Okay, on the another section on US next term at Scottish, shut down, reprised, lecturing the generals, wolves in Montana. governing Jersey, in the Americas, the Trump's trade deal. What is the difference between US and America? I'm unable to find it because the full form of the name of the country is USA. Okay, so in the America section, we are going to read about Trump's trade deal, Bolsonaro's prospects, Mennonite newspaper. Okay, in the Asia, Trump versus Modi, Australia's economy, Banyan trade wars, Japan's election, cricket in India. Okay, in the China section, engineering versus service, crypto crime, Chinese newsletters, Chaguan on Jerome Cohen. In the Middle East and Africa, Trump's plan for Gaza, the Gaza deals and politics, unstable Iraqi Kurdistan, protest in Madagascar, I'm sorry, Ethiopia's threat to Eritrea. So, whatever I'm going to read, please try to read in detail. If I try to explain you in summary, you have to read it in detail if you have time, and if you don't have time, to try to remember whatever I am trying to explain. Okay, so you don't need to give extra time to something. If you have any boring time, from that time you have to give 10 to 14 minutes or 15 minutes to the session, and you can easily able to scroll whole PDF and you will able to get the important news and topics. And when you get the important one, you will find the interesting one. Okay, and this will enhance your vocab and English speaking ability. Okay, so try to read it. I hope you all are able to hear and listen whatever I am trying to say. Okay, so I have to check that the voice is clear or not. Okay, my voice is too clear. Hmm. So the contents, lots of contents is there. After Middle East and Africa, there is a lot of contents. Uh, about Europe, whatever we are going to read. The France's lost center, trouble with FCAS. Okay, assisted dying in Italy. Okay, Moldova boards, finished icebreakers. Charlie Magnin, crushing innovation. In Britain, the Macron strategy, peak calm, wedge hot, hugging, hippie hugging, labor. International, the Russia's David, the Telegram, the art of escalation. In the business section, Trump and Pharma ambition metal, EA bumper buyout, the AI data center boom battle by careless world, America's newest mogulus computer by its dance beyond TikTok. Okay, finance and economics, science and technology. In finance and economics, America's financial diplomacy, credit market danger, self driving taxis, China's stock market, Bretton Woods, free exchange, okay, science and technology, and then culture, economics and financial indicators, obituaries. Okay, so from all these contents, I think these are the contents. Okay, so from all these contents, I'm going to read about mainly about this one. Okay, I'm sorry, where my hands are. It's about Asia, China, list. I mainly read about this one. Science and tech, culture, no business and international ones. I'm not going to read about any country in detail. Whatever the country it is, I take the all important one. So no one have doubt that you will get what in the session. But if you want to read further about anything else, please go through the PDF you will get. Okay. I will try to explain, okay, so that you can able to listen and remember. So it's a 9 page, okay. Hmm. it's a 9 page, okay? The world, the is weak politics. Oh, it's a too long. Donald Trump announced a 20-point plan to end the war in Gaza, along with Benjamin Netanyahu, Israel's PM. Mr. Trump committed to ceasefire proposal that was endorsed by many Arab and Muslim countries. Under the scheme, the war would end. Okay, Hamas would release its remaining hostages in Israel, will aid it into Gaza without limit. Okay, it's about Gaza, Hamas, and Israel. Okay, Israeli troops would withdraw in phases, and an international stabilization force would not responsibility for security or technocratic. A political Palestinian committee would take over the civic government. Mr. Trump would lead a vote of peace to oversee reconstruction. Okay, just so here, a technocratic, a political Palestinian committee would take over the civil government. Mr. Trump would lead a board of peace to oversee reconstruction. Okay, sweeping sanctions were reimposed on Iran 10 years after they were lifted. Okay, Britain and France and Germany, the three eco partners to the JCPOA, the multinational. Okay, okay. The multinational trade deal meant to restrict Iran's nuclear program, activated the snapback mechanism, accusing Iran of continued nuclear escalation. Iran suspended inspection of its nuclear sites after America and Israel bombed them in June. Okay, protesters in Madagascar demonstrated against persistent power cut, water shortage, and rampant corruption and called for the resignation of Henri Roselena. The president, in response, Mr. Roselena sacked his cabinet, imposed a curfew, and deployed his security force against the crowd. At least 22 people were killed. Okay, Joseph Kabila, a former president of Democratic Republic of Congo, was sentenced to death. Okay, a military court. Okay, with rebels and complicity in war crimes. Mr. Kabila has denied any wrongdoing and says his successor is using the court for political gains. Okay, it's mainly about DRC in Democratic Republic of Congo, and where there is a death sentence. Okay, America's relation with Colombia getting worsened. When the State Department revoked the visa of Gustavo Petro, Colombia's leftist president, after they took part in a pro-Palestinian rally outside the UN in New York. At the rally, Mr. Petro called on American soldier to disobey the orders of Trump. Okay, his comments were described as reckless and incendiary by the State Department. Okay, an American proposal to double-size the international security force in Haiti was backed by United Nations Security Council. Okay, China and Russia abstained from the UN vote, claiming the new force could be used by America to further its aim in the region. Venezuela is strengthening his power over the security force and declare a state of emergency as the speculation about an American invasion. Okay, Mr. Trump criticized Venezuela. Okay, government services in America were left out without funding after a spending bill was held up in the Senate over a row about health insurance tax credit, although it has come close in recent years. Okay, Eric Adams pulled out of New York mayoral election. Mr. Adams, the incumbent mayor, was running as an independent after a slew of scandals. Okay. In India, police opened an investigation into the death of at least 40 people who were who were cursed during a political rally for Vijay, an actor turned politician. Okay. Investigation are considering whether charges of negligence and homicide should be brought against the senior figure from Vijay's party who organized the event in Tamil Nadu. Around 20,000 people turned up at a location that meant accommodated half that number. An earthquake is it's about Philippines. It's about India. Okay. Philippines killed at least 270 people. Okay. South Korea's President Lee Jae-yong announced an 8.2% increase in the defense budget. Okay, the biggest rise since 2008. Mr. Trump have been pressing ASEAN. Okay, Mr. Lee remarked that this is an era where it's every man for himself. The internet blackout had affected airport information technology systems and operations. Okay, it's about Moldova. It's about Afghanistan. JD Vance, America's vice president, suggested that the Pentagon could provide Ukraine with a long range Tomahawk. Okay, it's about Ukraine, Russia. Okay, Sir Keir Starmer, Britain's PM, tried to stanch hemorrhaging of support in the polls for his governing Labour Party. In a speech to flag waving party members, Sir Keir insisted he was overseeing national renewal and fighting for the soul of our country, pitching an address to working people. He said the populist reform UK was his main threat and that immigration policy was a pressing issue. Okay? But he claimed reforms planned to remove non-citizen migrants were racist. The world is business this week. It's mainly about the business section. Okay. A consortium of investors led by Saudi Arabia's Public Investment Fund announced a buyout of Electronic Art, such as Battlefield, EA Sports FC, and Madden NFL. Okay. Affinity Partners, an investment firm founded by Jared Kushner, Donald Trump's son-in-law, is a part of the consortium. The deal is a bet that artificial intelligence will enhance player interaction with EA's games and also cut its operating costs. Okay, try to figure it out. The White House pulled its nomination of E.G. Antony to Bureau of Labor and Statistics. Donald Trump had nominated Mr. Antony, currently senior economist, okay, at the Conservative Heritage Foundation. Okay, after sacking, here I am. Okay, don't try to get confused. Okay, head of the BLS for allegedly manipulating job figure. Okay, White House nominee to lead the Commodity Future Trading Commission. Mr. Punches has accused Taylor Ranklevers, the founder of a crypto exchange and support of Mr. Trump. Analysts estimated a big increase in sales in electric vehicles in America as people rushed to claim tax credit on EV purchase before the program ended on September 30. Okay, the British government and ED Jaguar Land Rover loan guarantee as the car maker struggled to restart production following a cyber attack on August 31st. Nike said it now expect cost from tariff to reach, I'm not going to read the data, the financial year, okay, as it reported drop in quarter net profit year on year. Warren Buffett's Berkshire Hathaway was reportedly ready to secure a deal to buy Occidental petrochemical division for $10 billion. Okay. Another blockbuster deal was taking shape as a global infrastructure partner owned by BlackRock was said to be close to buy AES. California government signed the first bill into law in America that compelled company to safety standard for AI. Okay. A study from Budget Lab at Yale University countered the idea that AI is already disrupted jobs, concluding that the effect on American labor markets are largely speculative. Okay, strictly ballroom. YouTube agreed to settle a lawsuit brought by Donald Trump for blocking his content after his supporter attacked Congress on January 6. It's 11th page. It's about the leaders. Putin test the West. Where is the content page? I think on the content page, I will read whatever I'm going to read. So in the leader section, medicines in America. This is important, okay? So 12th page number. After 12th, I'm trying to go to the this section. No, this section 12th. No? Okay, okay. Why the war on drug pricing will fall? Medicines in America will fail. Donald Trump proposed cure is worse than disease. Filthy infuriate Americans as much as drug prices, okay? Republican and Democrats likely agree that poorly patients are being ripped off, okay, by greedy pharma firms. Oh, this is the important one. Okay, okay. Tell me the meaning of infuriate. Tell me. बहुत ज्यादा गुस्सा हो, ठीक है, बहुत ज्यादा irritating angriness. Okay, so being too much angry. So the point today, America's least price for branded drugs means medicine are on average more than 4 times those in other rich countries. Donald Trump agrees with them and he's sent out to do something about it, okay? If they don't, he says he will use every tools in our arsenal against what he calls abusive drug pricing. Okay? Okay? So And the president's battle to bring down the price is doomed to fail. Indeed, it could even make health care in America worse. Means when president tried to bring down the prices of drugs, mm, means when they want to decrease the healthcare facilities are getting worse in America. This is the main thing. Okay, anyone familiar with the country's Byzantine health system knows that efficiency and rent around. Yet those yet this tend to be concentrated not among drug makers, but further along the supply chain. Our analysis of 220 listed healthcare firms find that three-fifths of excess profit. Okay, so 3 ppms handle nearly 80% of prescription claims last year. Some of them are being invested for uncompetitiveness behavior, cracking open the sector and encouraging competition, bring cost down. Okay, United States drug prices. Okay, in 2022, the everything that is written there. Okay, so it's mainly about the price of medicine. The articles mainly explains that the drug price is just minimal so that everyone can able to buy, but it's become too much costly. It's by American president. He says that the drugs price, medicine prices are too much high, costlier. Okay. To answer the question, this is the question. It helped to grasp why American patients pay more. They are not means American president want to say that they want to fix the drug price, but it's three times more than the other richest countries in the world. Okay, so they are not being ripped off. Okay, feckless foreigner. Okay, calculation on the basis of value of drug provide the patient the quality of patient's life means the value of each drug provided. It shows the quality of patient's life. Okay, so this is the data that is written here, and this is explained here by Uncle Sam. The five medicine approved by Uncle Sam never won approval in Europe, and nearly half were not approved by Japan. Okay, three places more than two were first approved in Africa, nearly 6 months before Europe, on average almost 3 years before Japan. Okay. Moreover, because pharma companies are based, Mr. Trump not price gaining monster, imposing the most favorite nation price on the world's biggest drug market would also curb innovation. 90% of clinical drug development ends in failure. So this is the whole idea. It's mainly talking about the drugs, the medicine, whatever the price and that are given by the American consumer. This is the main idea that is written here. Okay. So this that is why Trump plans to rebalance the system by making America's Europeans pay more and Americans less. Cannot work. He cannot force the rest of the world to pay more for drug, nor can he force drug makers to keep spending as much on research as their profit take a knock. Okay, the harmful violation would affect patients everywhere. Okay, Mr. Trump don't instead rather than seeking to import Europe's price. He could borrow its approach and establish an American system of valuing drugs. Most prices emerge from a series of negotiations between makers and middlemen without any explicit discussion of value. Okay, this is the thing that is written here. Okay, so it's mainly about the drug price of US and how the prices is getting much worse and more worse and in America. Okay, The letter asylum seeker in Britain, America's relation with Israel, the US Constitution calls the crime the Democrat. Okay, it's about the letter, okay, by invitation. It's about US. I'm going to just read about the business page. Where is the business page? It's about the Asia. Crude awakening. A deal on Russian oil could halt the downward spirit between India and America. Okay, we already read about this in the newspaper sections, but still, we are going to explain this. Okay, so crude awakening. I'm sorry for the disturbance. So, Trump has appeared across India at mass celebration at the Dasara festival. The president aptly dressed up as a demon. Okay, the mood of public defense and defiance, growing headache of Narendra Modi. Okay, who needs to repair relation with Trump. The negotiation on detailed trade agreement with America are at advanced stage, and it is preparing to spend big on craft weapon and oil from America. Okay, the two fell out in spectacular fashion in May after Mr. Trump failed to back India in short conflict with Pakistan. Okay, Pakistan's leader quickly agreed and put Mr. Trump up for the Nobel Peace Prize. In this phone call in June, Mr. Trump seemed to expect Mr. Modi to do the same. Okay, a month later, Mr. Trump demanded that India stop buying oil from Russia. The president wanted to put pressure on Vladimir Putin in Alaska in August. Okay, Russian oil trade at less of discount that it used to, so India would not take much of the economic hit by weaning itself of it. Okay, Indian export, a good export to America to 50%. Okay, how might India oil handle Mr. Trump's ultimatum on its oil purchase from Russia? Okay, this is mainly about the oil purchase, and it's about the tariff that is already the Trump is applied on India. Okay, so also in this section there is written about Australia's economy, Banyan, trade headache, Japanese politics, women's cricket in India. Okay, so where it is written about the Australia's economy. Here, I think Australia once led the rich world is in prosperity. Now it's falling behind. Okay, for the years Australia benefited from becoming Chinese booming Chinese economy, shipping full of iron ore and coal streamed out of the country. They not only earned Australia foreign exchange but also held up wages, swelled taxes, revenue, and brought a run of budget surpluses. Yet now those good times are over. Chinese economy is slowing, commodity prices are falling, Australia looks punch drunk. Having won re-election in a landslide in May, Australia's Labour government has a big mandate to do something, okay? So the question now is whether his government tools reverse the country's economic problem. Okay, this is the data. Australian disposable income and have declined faster than the another other country. Okay, young Australians fear about what to not live as well their parent. Okay, so it will deny the productivity of the economy. So firms grumble that the Australia has the second largest corporate tax rate in the rich world, and they must navigate a labyrinth of state and federal regulation. Okay, he has complained that Australian firms are not sufficiently innovative, that companies invest too little, and that workers lack essential skills. Okay, one of the contentious issues related to tax system awareness is growing that it unfairly favors older Australians, leaving younger workers. It shoulder the burden through income tax. Economists who attend the government's roundtable called for raising tax on capital gains. Okay, they also want to reform family trust, which allows the well-off to spread income among relatives and lower yeah, tax brackets, and to move and make tax break for people with big pensions savings less generous. Okay, Banyan Trade Hacks Headache. This is written here. Read it. Japanese politics. It's about Chinese. Okay. Where is the finance section? It's about Europe. It's about Britain. The business section. Okay. After that, we are going to read about the finance section. So, in the business section, strong medicines trumps fight with pharma. Can the president bring America's sky high drug price down? Well, the cost of medicines in America is too high. How? We already read it, but read it here in detail. Big Pharma has a big headache. Donald Trump lately, drug makers have to put with the presidential pronounce pronouncement on everything from vaccine to paracetamol. The pain is not going away. Abusive price. On this September, the price is the lowest charge in other rich countries. A rule he calls most favored nation. October 1st, Trump backs government website offering patients strictly discounted medicines. Okay. Pharmaceutical giants has lined up earning a boost in share price and pulling other drug makers stock out with it. Okay. And we got health program for poor at MFN price. Term remain confidential in Medicaid account less than 5% of the American sales. President wants to encourage home-ground manufacturing. October 1st, imported brand drugs face 100% tariff unless their makers are building factories in America. His administration is also pondering additional duties under a law allowing import to be restricted on national security ground. Okay, drug prices are indeed higher in America than elsewhere in rich world, but the president's two-point prescriptions open a model that has long underpinned the global It could have unintended effect, leaving Americans with fewer medicines but not cheaper ones, while in other countries drugs could be fewer and dearer. Okay. A study by the Rand Corporation, a think tank, puts them at more than 3 times the average in other rich countries. Okay. The supply side is globalized. Most active ingredients are made in low cost hubs such as India. Much of the research and development goes on in America, Europe, and increasingly China. Okay, so this is the thing. I already read it, and the pain threshold, how the drug price relative to another country. Okay, you have to read it in detail because it's too much important. Okay, in the business section, the another one is European defense. Even the sky is no limit. Okay, signed in the gear stick. Build it, and AI will come. Finance and economics. Finally, we are at the important page that we are most waiting. Okay, in this page is about the finance and economics. Okay, so read it. Dangerous credit market. The economics of self-driving taxis. China's soaring stock might hurt, but ignored the permanent portfolio. Free exchange. Don't tax wealth. Learning to love it. Financial diplomacy. Inside it, written about the Americas. International assistance has not been destroyed, it has been transformed. Okay, this is the main thing that is written here about the snap bankruptcies. Let's read this finance page, okay, and economy page in detail. Okay, on next, I try to write Sunday. Okay, I'm sorry, I'm unable to write. But from on next Sunday, we are going to read the finance and economy page, each page in detail. So if but until you at that time, if you want to read it in detail, then please try to read it because each and everything inside it's very necessary. Okay. So I will upload the PDF of this session in the description. Try to remember it or try to memorize the important words and important thing, whatever they in this magazine. Okay. And thank you for watching.